A billionaire's heart was touched when a janitor and her daughter revealed an amazing secret. Alex Turner surveyed his empire from the 30th floor of his Chicago high-rise. Glass and steel glistened like diamonds in the afternoon sun, a stark contrast to the world below. His heart raced as he adjusted his cufflinks, a billionaire at the pinnacle of success yet haunted by an uneasy emptiness. It was all glitz and glory, yet somehow, he felt like he was losing touch with something vital. Meanwhile, Maria, the janitor he often saw whizzing by his office, smiled as she polished the floors underfoot. Her humble spirit lit up the drab surroundings, yet she bore the weight of 1,000 unspoken fears. Every evening, after long hours scrubbing the floors of the towering bank headquarters, Maria rushed home to her little apartment filled with the smell of instant noodles and hopes. Her daughter, Sofia, sat at the kitchen table amidst crayon drawings that sprang to life, showcasing dreams beyond grasp. Being the sole provider meant life was a constant struggle, yet Maria poured love into her daughter, nurturing creativity like a gardener tending to fragile sprouts. Though Alex tried to ignore the presence of this determined woman, he couldn't shake the curiosity sparked by her unwavering composure and radiant smile. He noticed how her warm greetings reverberated in the corporate corridors where ambition often diminished human connection. It was during a crucial corporate meeting that the rosy facade of his success began to fade. Plans for a new development project, an initiative that would fill his pockets but decimate Maria's community, struck him like a thunderclap. The smiles and laughter in the boardroom turned into hollow echoes as the weight of his decisions pressed against his conscience. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The meeting ended, but Alex found himself drawn to the local art scene, seeking something he couldn't identify, a pull that led him toward an exhibition showcasing community talent. Before he knew it, he was standing before canvases splashed with bold colors and whispered dreams. Among them, he spotted Sofia's artwork, brilliant and full of life, a visual anthem for all the broken dreams in the shadows outside his corporate bubble. In that moment, everything fell into place. Maria wasn't just another janitor, her artistry thrived in the shadows of sacrifice. As he stared at Sofia's vibrant painting, Maria stepped in, her voice choked as she shared her fears of losing everything, just as Alex's multi-million-dollar plans surged ahead. Each word struck him, digging deep into his heart, prompting a reckoning he could no longer dismiss. As the truth hit him, he looked at Maria and her daughter, the embodiment of resilience and love. A choice loomed before him, heavy with his privilege and the collective struggle of the overlooked. Could he rise against the machine he had built, or would greed seal their fate? With his heart pounding, Alex felt a flicker of hope yet uncertainty as he considered the legacy he wanted to claim. The sunset behind the Chicago skyline painted everything orange and gold, casting shadows that danced with whispers of possibility. Would he stand up for the community, or would he let his ambitions lead him deeper into a world devoid of real connection? Alex stepped away from the bright colors of Sofia's art, still processing the weight of Maria's words. The faces in the gallery seemed to blur together as he grappled with a growing unease. Did he really want to be known for building another glittering monument to wealth while communities crumbled? As he gazed back at the vibrant canvas, he felt Sofia's innocent dreams staring back at him, silently pleading for protection. That he glanced out the window at the sprawling city beneath him. Was he really as disconnected as he feared? The towering buildings that represented his success now felt like steel bars holding him captive in a prison of his own making. Just moments ago, he thought he had it all, yet standing there, he felt far from fulfilled. "Mr. Turner?" A voice cut through his contemplation, snapping him back to reality. It was Lydia, his assistant, standing with a concerned look. "Everything okay?" Alex ran a hand through his hair, regretting how unsteady he sounded. "I'm not sure, I need some time alone." "Of course." Lydia stepped back, her expression shifting from curiosity to respect. She could sense the turmoil brewing within him, something he rarely allowed anyone to see, that he wandered to a quiet corner of the gallery, where fewer people congregated. He could hear the laughter and chatter from the main room, but a fragile stillness enveloped him here. In the distance, he caught a glimpse of Maria and Sofia, immersed in conversation with another guest. Their laughter danced through the air, a sound so genuine, it felt foreign after his boardroom-esque shallow banter. Something drew him closer. Their joy seemed magnetic, drawing him in like moths to a flame. As he approached, he heard Sofia excitedly describe her artwork, the vibrant stories behind each crayon stroke. Alex's heart warmed. "Do you want to see more?" Sofia asked, her eyes sparkling with hope. "Absolutely," Alex replied, his voice choked with emotion. He couldn't help but imagine what could happen if he embraced the sincerity radiating from this mother-daughter duo. The moment felt significant, as though a change was about to unfurl. Not just for him, but for them too. He realized that the money he had could serve a purpose far bigger than himself. A chance to uplift them, to shine a light on the very community that his plans threatened. "Maria," he said, stepping forward with newfound resolve. She turned, her stern features softening into a look of surprise. "I need to talk to you," he continued, the urgency in his voice drawing her full attention. For a brief moment, their eyes locked. They both understood the gravity of what was at stake. "What are you thinking, Mr. Turner?" she asked, cautiously optimistic yet wary. "I want to help change things. I want to see a real community flourish instead of tearing it down for another project. Family, art, community, it matters more than profit." A flicker of hope ignited in her eyes. "But how?" "Let us explore this together," Alex suggested. "I could fund community projects, promote local art, and shape a development plan that preserves what you hold dear." Maria's breath caught in her throat. Was he serious? Could this wealthy businessman actually mean it, or was it another empty promise? The skepticism etched on her face lingered for a moment longer, but then she nodded slowly, as if testing the waters of trust. "What do you say, Sofia? Are we ready to dream a little bigger?" With a hesitant smile, Sofia raised her crayon, drawing a new possibility in the air. It was the beginning of something monumental, yet the path ahead was uncertain. As the sun dipped below the horizon, wrapping the city in a blanket of twilight, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that change was imminent. Was he ready to let go of his old ways? Could he truly shift his legacy from profit to purpose? These thoughts buzzed in his mind as he felt the weight of his surroundings shift. With a determined heart, he whispered a silent vow to himself. It was time to unveil a new chapter in his life, and he dared to hope that this time, it would not be alone. But deep down, conflicting emotions swirled like a storm. Would others in his world allow it? As people passed by, unaware of the pivotal moment unfolding, he feared the clash that would inevitably come. Would he truly face the opposition waiting just around the corner? As the gallery emptied, the air thick with a mix of anticipation and anxiety, Alex stood rooted in his spot, grappling with his newfound commitment. The silhouettes of guests filtering out painted a scene both familiar and foreign. He had always known that his wealth commanded respect, but now it felt more like a shackle. He watched the remnants of laughter echoing through the now still space, but the sounds felt distant, fading to a dull hum. "Are you really serious about this?" Maria's voice cut through his thoughts, pulling him back into focus. Her gaze was both probing and cautious, mirroring the doubt swirling in his mind. More than ever. He took a deep breath, his pulse quickening. "I know I've been part of the problem, but I want to be part of the solution instead." Sofia bounced on her toes, her innocent enthusiasm a stark contrast to the weight of their conversation. "We can make the art studio a real place for kids to play and create." Maria's smile faded slightly, her skepticism clawing back. "That sounds wonderful, but what about the funding? And what if your colleagues find out?" They'll never let you walk away from profitable deals to support a struggling community. Alex clenched his fists, wrestling with the rush of fear creeping in. He had built his career on profits, on numbers, and cold calculations, but now he felt something deeper urging him to break free. I'll deal with them. I might have compromised my values for too long, but I won't let their pressure dictate what I care about anymore. The flicker of hope in Maria's eyes ignited something within him. If we bring art into their world, maybe we could inspire them to see value beyond just profit. Sofia chimed in excitedly, we could have art shows. And classes. Maybe even a gallery right here. She spun in circles, imagining the colors and creativity. Each twirl was a reminder of how vital their dreams were, but Alex was keenly aware of the stakes. Would his world allow him to make such bold choices? We have to make a plan, he said firmly, grounding them in practicality. We can start by organizing community meetings to gather their needs. Maria nodded slowly, the weight of his words absorbing into her posture. A plan is crucial. But I need to know you're committed. I am. His voice was steady. I might have a lot to learn, but I'll follow through. As they stood together amidst the flickering gallery lights, the world outside felt like an echo of their former lives, replaced by this burgeoning hope. A warmth began to settle in the pit of Alex's stomach. Perhaps this wasn't just a chance for redemption, it was a chance to truly connect, to understand, and to rally people for something meaningful. Let's start small, he suggested, perhaps a workshop. Something that gets people involved and excited. Together? Sofia asked, her wide eyes filled with wonder. Absolutely, Alex replied, a smile breaking through his intense focus, but just as they shared this moment of newfound purpose, the door swung open with a creak, drawing their attention. Lydia entered, her hands full of papers. Alex. You need to see this, she began, urgency bubbling behind her calm demeanor. There are some concerns from investors. Alex felt his heart race. Could this be what he dreaded? The typical conflicts that came from challenging the status quo. He exchanged glances with Maria and Sofia, the weight of the upcoming battle lingering in the air. Would he be able to stand firm, or would he fold to the pressures around him? Let us find out, Alex said, moving toward Lydia, his resolve rekindled. He had chosen this path, and no matter the storm ahead, he wouldn't turn back. But what awaited him beyond the door could change everything. As the heavy door closed behind him, he braced himself for the fight of his life. Would the dream they envisioned flicker out before it even began? When Alex stepped into the hallway, the air felt charged, heavy with the tension he had dreaded. Lydia walked briskly beside him, papers rustling like leaves in a storm. The fluorescent lights buzzed above, a stark contrast to the vibrant energy he had shared with Maria and Sofia moments earlier. What are the investors saying? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady but feeling the uncertainty gnawing at him. Lydia took a deep breath, her lips pursing. They're worried about the direction you're taking, the art studio, the community workshops. They think it diverts attention from your profitable projects. They want assurances. They want to know you're not throwing your career away for a pipe dream. Alex's chest tightened. He had fought tirelessly to reach this point. The thought of giving that up for the sake of some spreadsheets almost made him sick. I can manage it, Lydia. They need to understand this is a priority for me now. She glanced sideways at him, her expression softening. And I want to support you. But you need to prepare for their questions. They might even see this as a backlash, a threat to their investment. They'll want numbers, Alex. Stats that justify this shift. He exhaled, a hint of frustration bubbling to the surface. Do they really think I've spent all my time and resources on making money just to abandon it? This is about building something bigger, something that could mean real change. Lydia stopped walking, turning to face him fully. I get that. I do. But change scares people. You're ruffling feathers, and I don't want to see you hurt in the process. Her eyes were sincere, but in her concern, Alex felt a flicker of doubt. Sometimes, Lydia, growth requires discomfort. If they can't see that, then they don't understand why I've made these decisions in the first place. With renewed determination, he pressed on, leading the way to the conference room. The door loomed ahead, a solid barrier between him and the uncertain future that lay on the other side. Inside, a group of executives sat around the polished oak table, their expressions unreadable. As Alex entered, the chatter quieted. He could feel the weight of their scrutiny. His heart drummed in his chest, each beat echoing the stakes at hand. "Thank you all for coming," he started, forcing calm into his shaky voice. "I know there are concerns about my recent decisions, but I assure you, every step I take is with a vision for our company and the community in mind." Alex, one of the investors, interrupted, lean and sharp in his tailored suit. "What's the strategy here? You want to invest in community art programs, but it sounds like a distraction from our core agenda. This is about business, not charity." As the words sliced through the air, Alex felt his gut twist. It was a clash he had foreseen but had hoped to navigate with grace. "It's about both. We can drive profits while also making a tangible difference. Imagine the goodwill we can harness," he countered, searching their faces for any hint of understanding. "Goodwill doesn't pay the bills, Alex," another voice chimed in, like a cold splash of water. "Our stakeholders expect growth, not a philanthropic venture." Each word hit him harder than the last. This was the opposition he feared, the reality check that threatened the dreams he carried. As the meeting progressed, arguments flared back and forth, passion versus pragmatism. After what felt like an eternity, Lydia leaned in, her voice a whisper only he could hear. "You're losing them. Maybe it's time to acknowledge their concerns without sacrificing your vision." He nodded subtly, heart racing. What if he could turn this around? What if a different approach could be the key? Alex straightened, determination boiling within him. "They're not wrong," he said aloud, gaining momentum. "This is about growth in ways we've never considered before. Let us find that balance together." As he spoke, the energy shifted, creating a flicker of hope amidst the tension. Could he find allies in those who once seemed like adversaries? Just then, the heavy wooden door creaked, catching everyone's attention as someone peeked inside. Alex's heart dropped, bracing for an interruption. Sorry to barge in, but the figure stepped into the room, revealing a familiar face. It was Sofia, wide-eyed and holding a colorful poster, her small frame filling the doorway with unexpected light. "I want to show everyone this." Alex's heart warmed. In that moment, the stakes felt more personal. His fight wasn't just for numbers, it was for the very spirit of community they all could inspire and uplift. "Looks like we have a surprise," he exclaimed, hope rekindling in his voice. As Sofia walked forward, a wave of determination washed over him. This was about taking a stand, for both profit and purpose. But would her innocent enthusiasm be enough to shift the hardened hearts around the table? His eyes locked on hers as she began to unfold her art piece. In that innocent moment, Alex realized maybe he wasn't just there for a debate, he was there to ignite something they all needed to see, and as Sofia's voice filled the silence, Alex wondered, could one heartfelt moment be the crucial turning point he needed? Sofia stepped into the conference room, radiant and unbothered by the tense atmosphere that had gripped Alex just moments before. She held her poster close to her chest, her excitement radiating like sunshine breaking through clouds. The colorful image filled the air with a breath of fresh creativity, contrasting sharply with the stiff gray suits surrounding the table. "Look! This is my mural for the community center," she announced, her voice ringing clear in the brief silence that followed her entrance. Alex's attention shifted fully to her. The heart of the meeting started to fade away as he watched his daughter's tiny hands work fast to unveil her artwork. She pinned it against the wall, squinting slightly, as if trying to get it just right in the dim light of the room. "What do you think?" she asked, turning to face the investors with a hopeful smile. The room fell into a stunned silence. The colorful swirls and intricate designs depicted children playing and smiling in a grand outdoor mural, splashed with bright colors that spoke of joy and community. Alex felt a swell of pride, mixed with a determination he hadn't realized he'd been holding back. "We want to create a space where art and community come together," Sofia continued, her words weaving through the air, innocent yet powerful. "This mural will brighten the community center and inspire everyone. Art matters, right?" Alex could see the investors exchange glances, their hardened expressions softening ever so slightly. Sofia, oblivious to the adult concerns swirling around her, was just a child speaking from her heart. She wasn't burdened by spreadsheets or profits, she simply knew the value of community and connection. One of the investors, the sharp-dressed man who had initially challenged Alex, leaned back in his chair. "It's impressive," he admitted reluctantly, eyes narrowing slightly as he considered it. "But how does this translate into numbers?" Sofia tilted her head. "It brings people together. People want to be part of something beautiful. They'll come here, create memories, and even support local businesses around it. That's growth too." Alex couldn't help but smile. His daughter's innocent perspective was cutting through barriers decades in the making. Another investor chimed in, her voice quieter yet thoughtful. "Children, in particular, resonate with this. They bring families. Families support their local economy." Alex seized this thread. "Imagine a community where art is a way of life, a common ground for everyone from kids like Sofia to the adults longing for change. This can elevate not just our business, but our impact." Lydia caught his eye, her eyebrows raised in surprise at the shift in the room. But just as hope began to swell, Sofia paused, biting her lip. "I just wanted to help." Her voice dropped, revealing a crack in the vibrant facade she had put up. The air grew heavy again, as if realization had tempered the positivity for all present. Alex felt as if he'd been punched in the gut. It was so easy to forget the stakes were high, but they were about more than numbers, they were about belief, passion, and the innocence of a child wanting to make a difference. "Sweetheart," he spoke gently, kneeling before her. "What you've done it's not big enough," she interrupted, her small hands trembling. "It's just a mural." "No," he reassured firmly. "It's everything." He turned back to the investors, charged with a newfound energy. "This isn't just about numbers. It's about legacy. A legacy that could transform lives." Faces shifted, nodding slightly. Alex could feel their walls crack, piece by piece, under the weight of Sofia's sincerity. Suddenly, their hardened ambition felt overshadowed by the purity of her dream, but before he could build on that momentum, the moment was dangerously interrupted by the sound of a phone buzzing against the polished wood of the table, the tension snapping back. One of the investors frowned, looking down at the screen. "We need to wrap this up. I just got a notification about a problem with our latest project." Alex's stomach dropped. Were outside challenges really about to derail this fragile breakthrough? That's when he saw Sofia, standing a little taller, clutching her art more tightly as if it was a shield. Would her spirit be enough to keep the moment alive? Could they push past the obstacles that threatened to pull them back? As the echo of a chair scraping against the floor filled the room, Alex understood one thing: it was time for the real fight, not just for numbers but for the heart of what they were trying to build. With a deep breath, he faced the collective group, ready to stand once more. Would they decide to embrace this vision or walk away from the chance to create something genuinely meaningful? His pulse quickened as he awaited their response. Because one thing was clear: the battle for the soul of the project was just beginning. The tension in the room felt almost tangible, a heavy fog wrapping around each person, binding them in that pivotal moment. Alex locked eyes with Sofia, who stood at his side, her little chest puffing out with a mix of uncertainty and courage. The silence swirled and dipped, stretching out as if daring anyone to break it. Finally, the sharp-dressed investor cleared his throat, his voice cutting through the heaviness. "Okay. Let us hear it. What's the problem with the project?" His tone was clipped, but Alex noted an eagerness glinting in his eyes. Everyone leaned in, sensing the shift. Lena, another investor, spoke first. There were discrepancies in budget allocations. It may involve. She hesitated, her voice quieter, almost apologetic, lower than expected returns on our previous investments. Alex felt the warmth of hope slightly dim. Seemingly trivial concerns threatened to wipe out the brightness Sofia had infused into the gathering. But then, he remembered her mural, its colors, its joy, its message. We can't get lost in numbers, he found himself saying, his voice steady. What if we turn this problem into an opportunity? Let us share Sofia's vision with the community. Isn't that a risk? The sharp-dressed investor shot back, folding his arms. Communities are unpredictable. We can't gamble on emotions when there are shareholder expectations. Sofia shifted nervously beside him, her hands still gripping the edges of her poster. But Alex reached down, resting his palm on her shoulder. What is risk, really? He asked, wanting to include her even more. It's only a measure of not just what we might lose, but what we can gain when we dare to dream. Can you imagine what happens when art speaks to a town? Or what can occur when we join hands instead of counting numbers? Art isn't just beauty, it's a catalyst, Sofia chimed in, her voice youthful yet resolute. It's like a river. It brings life. People can get excited, start new things, like markets or festivals. We shouldn't be afraid of a little uncertainty. The investors were quiet again, the air shifting from tight to contemplative. One by one, their expressions softened as they mulled over Sofia's audacity to push beyond fear. All right then, Lydia, the only woman on the investors' team, finally said. What would that look like? A community festival around this mural concept could promote local artists. Boost business. Start connections. Yes. They'd come for Sofia and stay for the experience, Alex added, his heart racing at the collective spark igniting the room. Maybe we can explore a pilot program. See what potential creative initiatives we can generate. A shred of intrigue darted through the sharp-dressed investor's expression. But it rests on this mural gaining traction. You mean you're willing to consider investing in it? Sofia's eyes lit up with hope, her innocence undeterred by the weight of the world. We need a solid plan, the investor responded, but he didn't hide the slight smile tugging at his lips. Sofia nodded, breathless. I can help. I want to help. With a grin, Alex pulled her closer. And together, we can build a proposal that combines our dreams. Sofia, you can be the heart of this plan. But just before they could plunge deeper into enthusiasm, the sharp-dressed investor's phone buzzed again, the noise slicing through excitement. His eyes narrowed at the screen once more, face paling. It's the board. They aren't pleased. Alex felt a wave of disbelief wash over him. But we're on the verge of something great. You can't let their worries dictate your vision. Community is not just a risk, it's our future. Sofia looked up, her little brow knitted together. Please, don't give up on your dream. Her voice wavered slightly, a child pleading for understanding. Alex and Sofia locked eyes, an unspoken understanding blooming between them. Would they really let fear extinguish the bright light she had kindled? As the silence deepened once more, he realized they stood at a crossroads. Their next steps could either cement a legacy or sink back into apprehension. The battle for their future was taking shape. Which path would lead them closer to realizing the dream they all shared? Alex felt that familiar urgency clawing at his heart. Would they have the courage to seize this moment together? Or would those distant, cold voices of doubt drown out their dreams? The moment hung heavy in the air, as if the very walls were listening. Alex could feel his heart pounding in his chest. Sofia's belief in their collective dream felt like a delicate thread, shimmering just above the abyss of doubt. Listen, Alex started again, his voice steady but with urgency. We know we face uncertainty. But that's where the magic happens. If we back down now, we lose more than just this mural. We lose the chance to inspire. Inspire, Lydia mused thoughtfully, her gaze shifting towards Sofia. What if we involve the community right from the start? We could crowdsource ideas for the festival. Let people share what this mural means to them. Sofia's eyes shimmered like stars as she grabbed Alex's hand, excitement bubbling just beneath the surface. We could have competitions, workshops, everyone can be a part of it. Art isn't just for galleries, it belongs to the streets. It belongs to us. The sharp-dressed investor cleared his throat, though his previous annoyance seemed to have faded slightly. All right, let us float this idea around. But what's the timeline? We can't afford delays. Let us set a date for the festival within the next 3 months, Alex suggested, feeling a boost in confidence. Give us time to rally support while keeping the investors informed. 3 months. The investor echoed, skepticism swirling in his tone. You're asking a lot, young man. Sofia stood tall beside Alex, her small frame radiating with determination. But we can do it. I believe in us. People will come. A few murmurs of agreement rippled through the group. Alex sensed a shift in the room. The investors' closed expressions began to soften. Lydia nodded. You know, kids have a way of bringing a fresh perspective. There is something powerful about community, art, and youth. It could resonate. Alex couldn't help but grin, fueled by a growing momentum. Let us bring those stories to life. Sofia, we can reach out to schools, local artists, businesses. Everyone has something to contribute. And what happens if we don't reach our target? The sharp-dressed investor asked, his skepticism returning like a dark cloud. That's the risk, isn't it? Alex replied, voice unwavering. But imagine the faces of children as they watch the mural being created. Imagine the joy of the community coming together. Whether we succeed or fail, it's worth something far greater than money. Sofia's small voice cut through the seriousness. Art is about connection. Isn't that what we want? The air shifted, charged with a newfound hope, as Lydia grinned. You know what? I think you're onto something. Let us draft a proposal and present it to the board. If it clicks, we'll have them eating out of our hands. The sharp-dressed investor hesitated. It's going to require a lot of convincing. Alex felt the rush of uncertainty creep back in, but he pushed it aside, holding Sofia's gaze. We'll convince them. Together. As discussions began to unfold, a sense of unity wrapped around them. They were all on board now, minds working towards that radiant future Sofia envisioned. Ideas flowed freely like water, combining into something beautiful and vibrant, but just as the atmosphere simmered with excitement, the investor's phone buzzed once more, slicing through the budding optimism like a knife. His face faltered as he read, color draining rapidly. What is it? Lydia prompted, concern etching her features that he swallowed hard, eyes darting to Alex and Sofia. It's worse than I imagined. The board wants immediate answers and they're threatening to pull the funding if we don't meet their demands. We might not even get that 3-month window. The room suddenly felt small, the shadows creeping back in. Alex's heart sank. So what happens to our plan? What about Sofia's mural? Sofia's grip tightened around the edge of her poster, eyes wide but fierce. Alex realized they were at an even bigger crossroads than before. Would they really let fear dictate their path? Together, we need to make a choice, Alex began slowly, feeling the weight of the moment. Are we ready to fight for what we believe in? No matter what the odds. He looked around the room, searching each face for understanding. Between the flickers of anxiety and excitement, Alex felt the flame of hope flickering strong. Would they rally together against the storm ahead, or would the board's threat snuff out their dreams before they could even begin? The tension was palpable, wrapping around them like a cloak. Faces were taut with uncertainty, but there was a spark beneath the doubt and unyielding resolve igniting within the group. Alex took a deep breath, trying to quell the anxiety coiling in his stomach. It was time to act. "All right," he said, voice steady as he scanned the room. "We don't have time for fear. We need a plan, something quick that can show the board we're moving. We'll start by writing up an outline of our community events. We need to present actual ideas they can visualize. Workshops, contests, and maybe even street performances. Let us give them something they can't resist." Sofia beamed, her eyes wide with excitement as she bounced on her toes. "We can set up booths where people can share their stories or memories related to art in the neighborhood. It will make the mural more than just paint on a wall." Alex smiled at Sofia's enthusiasm. It was contagious. Lydia started jotting down notes, her fingers flying over the notepad. "If we can get local schools involved, we could invite kids to share their paintings or drawings too. That way, it feels like they're all part of a larger picture." The investor watched them, his skepticism fading to curiosity. "That's not a bad idea. But you'll need a strong social media presence. We can't just rely on word of mouth. You have to reach everyone." His brow creased as he pulled out his phone, nodding at their efforts. Alex's heart raced. "We can start right away. Sofia and I can create a social media campaign that reflects what we want our mural to represent. We'll make it a movement." A newfound energy filled the room as ideas spilled out, a wall of memories, a kid's creativity corner, even a voices of the community feature where people could record their thoughts. The investor leaned in, clearly more engaged now. "If you can prove the community is on board, I think we can persuade the board to give you those 3 months." But questions still loomed. What if it all falls apart? Alex thought, pushing the worry aside for now. That as they began to flesh out the details, Sofia's excitement transformed into a deep seriousness. "Alex, what if the board pulls funding anyway? I don't want to let everyone down. I don't want to let you down." He knelt beside her, feeling the weight of her words. "Listen, Sofia. Even if we don't get the funding, we will still have created something powerful. We will inspire others, and that's priceless." She nodded slowly, but Alex could see the flicker of doubt still lingering behind her fierce gaze. The thought of failure hung over them like a storm cloud. It was a battle against external constraints and the internal fears they grappled with. A burst of laughter echoed from a nearby group, pulling Alex back to the moment. He realized they needed not just a plan but to rally that laughter, that joy, the spirit of community, and share it widely. "Let's prep our social media post," Alex urged, grabbing his own phone. "We're going to launch this campaign first thing tomorrow. I want you all to come ready to show what art means to our community. We need everyone involved." The investors nodded, and even the sharp-dressed ones softened slightly, as murmurs of agreement surged through the room. Something stirred in the air, the hope was palpable, but just as they were beginning to feel momentum, a sudden voice cut through the air. "What makes you think anyone will care?" The voice belonged to a newcomer, an older man who had been sitting quietly in the corner. His tone was skeptical, and it sent a ripple of tension through the room. Alex's confidence wavered. The flicker of hope faced the gust of doubt. "Why do you think art belongs to the streets?" The man continued, looking directly at Sofia. As Alex prepared to defend their vision, he could see how vital it was to answer authentically, not just for the man, but for the whole group. Would they allow this voice to shake their resolve? The moment laid heavy. Would they fight back against that doubt or let it seep into the veins of their mission? The answer could change everything. Alex felt the weight of the older man's gaze pressing down on him. It felt like a challenge, one that could either shatter their budding momentum or ignite their drive to prove him wrong. He glanced around the room, searching for encouragement, but found only hesitant faces, shadows of doubt hovering behind their bright ideas. Sofia took a step forward, the fire in her spirit flickering but refusing to extinguish. "Art belongs to everyone," she said, her voice rising slightly with passion. "It reflects our lives, our struggles, and our hopes. People need to see that their stories matter. That's why we want to bring art into the open." The man's brow arched, his skepticism thickening the air. And what guarantee is there that anyone will even show up? People are busy. Life is, life. They won't care about another mural. Alex felt the air grow heavy, the optimism they had built up suddenly vulnerable to implosion. But then he remembered what he had come here for: a mission to uplift, to connect, to remind everyone that their community was alive despite the struggles. But that's where we come in, he said, his own voice steadying. We're not just asking people to look at a mural, we're inviting them to contribute their stories and experiences. This isn't about the art alone, it's about uniting our community. Lydia chimed in, we can make it engaging. Contests, stories, music. Let us give them a reason to care. And the social media campaign will ensure our message travels far. The mural will symbolize our strength, our voice. People will want to be part of it. With a thoughtful frown, the man shook his head slowly. Words are powerful, yes, but a promise doesn't paint a wall. Alex felt a surge of frustration mixed with determination. Maybe we need to start small. Why not have a kickoff event? Bring people together, provide food, music, maybe even some local artists painting live. If we create an atmosphere of celebration, people will feel the energy. They will want to be involved. Sofia turned to the group, excitement bubbling in her voice again. What if we invited people to share a piece of their story as they paint? We can connect the mural to their voices. Imagine children laughing with brushes in hand, parents sharing their tales. We can bring everyone together. The investor, now visibly engaged, leaned in closer. If you can show that you have a crowd at the starting line, it might just prove to be enough for the board's approval. The older man crossed his arms, skepticism still etched on his features. Even if you get support, what happens when the spark fades and reality sets back in? The shining moment can only last so long. A silence fell, and Alex's heart drummed loudly in his chest. He knew change was hard, but he also believed in the resilience of shared stories. The fact was, they weren't taking this journey alone. We will keep the momentum going. We'll document everything: stories, live streams, a video montage, something that captures our progress, our struggles. We won't just stop because the event is over. Lydia nodded, her eyes glinting with hope. We need a solid plan to keep people engaged even beyond the painting. This project shouldn't end, it should evolve. The older man uncrossed his arms, brows slightly lifting as if considering their resolve. Alex felt a shift in the atmosphere, the doubt slowly being lifted like morning mist. Hope was beginning to bloom again, but just when he thought they might win the room back, a murmur rippled through the group. One of the investors discreetly glanced at his phone. I just heard news the board meeting is happening sooner than scheduled. The gravity of that statement hung in the air like a thick fog. We need to present our ideas sooner than we thought, one of the other investors said carefully. We have to show them a plan that they can't refuse. A knot formed in Alex's stomach. We have to move fast. No slacking, no second guessing. But deep within, he knew they were fighting a battle much larger than just a mural. Would their voices be heard? Would their dreams withstand the weight of expectation? The older man watched them, his gaze piercing and contemplative. As they gathered their thoughts, the atmosphere was charged with urgency. Would they take their shot, or risk fading into the background? The uncertainty lingered, and Paul, a quiet voice in the back, quietly asked, what if we're not enough? Alex felt the weight of those words, a reminder of the path ahead, daring him to confront it. The doubt surfaced, yet he knew that the answer lay in the stories they shared and the bonds they formed. Together, we'll be enough, he replied, but his heartbeat was a frantic drum echoing the million questions unanswered. Was togetherness strong enough to shift the tide? Alex found himself standing in the center of the conference room, surrounded by a charged atmosphere unlike any he had ever experienced. He could feel the weight of uncertainty hanging in the air like a heavy fog. But as he gazed at Sofia, her eyes filled with hope and determination, something inside him sparked. Together, he said, voice steady, we'll create something beautiful. Something that represents our community's heart. The investors looked at each other, their skepticism slowly melting away. All right, let us brainstorm, Lydia said, her pen poised above the notepad, ready to capture every idea that emerged. Excitement surged through the room as ideas flew back and forth. They proposed workshops, contests, and community gatherings. A festival where art would breathe life into the mundane streets. Each concept felt like a burst of energy, igniting the room with color. Let us plan a kickoff event, Alex suggested, his mind racing. We'll invite local artists, host live painting sessions, and share stories. It needs to be inclusive, bring everyone together. Sofia's eyes widened, her smile radiant. We can make it a celebration. Music, food, and art everywhere. Everyone can make something special and work together. The investors began nodding, slowly warming up to the idea as the spirit of community and connection filled the room. It could boost local businesses too, one added thoughtfully. People will want to come together. And just as they surged forward with plans, an unexpected voice emerged. What is the guarantee that anyone will care enough to show up? Demanded the older skeptic, arms crossed defiantly. Alex felt a chill run through him but glanced down at Sofia. Art belongs to everyone, she said, stepping forward, her voice steady and strong. It tells our stories. That's why I believe they will care. The room went quiet, as if her innocence held everyone in a captivated pause. Alex seized that moment. Sofia's right. It's not just about a mural, it's about creating a shared memory that resonates from one person to another. Every story matters, Lydia added, her expression shifting to one of empathy. Art can spark connections. People will want to be involved if they feel the pull of a community. And just like that, hope flickered through the room, a fragile but resilient flame. The discussions grew more animated, flowing with renewed energy as they crafted a proposal that centered not just on a mural, but on the heartbeat of their neighborhood. They had the potential to create a legacy. As the night stretched into early morning, papers scattered across the table transformed into a vivid roadmap of what could be a vibrant festival filled with laughter, art, and stories woven into the fabric of their lives. When the sun finally poured through the glass windows, Alex felt an odd stillness settle over him. As the team prepared for their meeting with the board, doubts crept in. Would they see the vision or dismiss it as just a whimsical idea? The boardroom was tense, the polished wood glimmering ominously under fluorescent lights. Alex squared his shoulders, feeling the warmth beside him as Sofia clutched her poster tight. He had never needed her more than now. Thank you for being here, Alex started, his voice steady but heart racing. We have something to share, a vision for not just profit, but for community. With determination, he laid out the proposal, bringing life to the words with Sofia's enthusiasm lighting the way. As they spoke of murals and festivals, the hesitance from the previous meeting began to thaw. Sofia stepped forward, her innocent spirit shining through. This mural will bring smiles. It's not just about painting, it will make people feel like they belong. The expressions around the table shifted. One investor leaned in, intrigued. But what is your plan for sustainability? Community initiatives require ongoing support. If that question landed a punch, Alex countered with a determination fueled by Sofia's unwavering belief. We'll document every step, create workshops, and build local support networks. With commitment, we aim not just to succeed in this project but to inspire a lasting change. The conversation flowed, pulses of energy running through the room. Ideas bounced like colorful confetti, new plans brewing. And when the board finally leaned in, intrigued, Alex knew they had taken the first steps toward changing not just business metrics, but lives. Days rolled into months as they executed their plans. The festival day dawned bright, unabashedly vibrant. The streets buzzed with laughter and joy, art splashed everywhere. Families mingled, stories shared, and the community connected in a tapestry of vivid colors. As he watched Sofia paint alongside other kids, their gleeful smiles illuminating the city backdrop, Alex felt a warmth envelop him. The emptiness that once echoed in his chest transformed into an overpowering sense of belonging. Maria and Sofia stood by his side, vibrant smiles reflected in their eyes. "We did it!" Sofia exclaimed, her eyes sparkling as she pointed to her mural. Together, Alex beamed. The walls that had once confined him now felt like pillars supporting a new dream. As the sun set over Chicago, bathing the streets in golden light, Alex Turner stood as a man transformed, not just a billionaire but a protector of dreams, a champion of his community, and in that moment, he understood, this was the legacy he sought, not to build walls of cold steel, but to weave the stories of all those who dared to dream. Now was the time to embrace these newfound bonds. Don't wait another second. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and boost our reach. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Remember, true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel. Let us inspire the world together.